if you were Erik ten Hag, would you try and come up with something special, some kind of plan to stop Erling Haaland? And if you did, what would that mean for the rest of your game plan?
Listen, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what kind of a plan, further than locking Haaland in the dressing room, will actually work. In all honesty, but let's assume that Ten Hag doesn't have all the keys to lock him in the dressing room. What do? You look at Manchester United's, well, the two centre backs, Varane and Martinez, who played, and the only thing that makes any kind of sense is to make sure at all costs that Varane is the one who's paired up one-on-one with Haaland, because Martinez can't compete physically. Varane is a lot quicker, I think, than he looks. So maybe he can match Haaland in that regard. And then you try to cut off supply. And I think that's where McTominay, again, who was favoured last time out, maybe he's the player that just kind of sits in front of that back four, trying to offer some kind of protection, some kind of physicality, in coping with Haaland.
United will want Raphael Varan to mark Erling Haaland. City, and probably Haaland, well, Haaland won't care, but if he had a choice, there's a 7-inch height differential between him and Lisandro Martinez. So as much as you say United will try their best to have Raphael Varan on Erling Haaland, if Haaland decides that he's going to take himself all over the place, which he normally does, but the one he really wants to go up against, because he thinks with a 7-inch height differential, he's untouchable, is Lisandro Martinez. So how does that play out? Do you do a man-to-man marking job on him? Do you do zonal? What do you do if one team wants one player marking the other star striker, but the team with the star striker want the star striker on the guy who's 7 inches shorter than him?
Absolutely. Listen, nothing happens in a vacuum here. And as much as I'm saying, get Varane on Haaland, it's easier said than done. I mean, that's the nature of the game. The striker, in this case Haaland, is free to roam wherever he is. Even if you put a man marker on him, he can try to tie up somebody else. I don't think that's the option. If you drift onto Martinez, you have to make sure that Varane is covered, that he has cover and he has support. That's just a part of the game. That matchup is going to happen from time to time, and it's how you cope with it. Regardless of how much you plan and how much you convince Varane that he has to get close to Haaland, that matchup with Martinez is going to happen. And that's when the cover of Varane becomes important. That's when the cover of McTominay, I'm saying McTominay because I think Eriksen, who played alongside McTominay, will be given a freer role in terms of creating for Manchester United going forward. So I'm picking on McTominay to carry the brunt of that midfield defensive responsibility. And that's where he comes in, how he positions. McTominay takes his position off of Haaland, regardless of where Haaland goes or which centre-back he's on. He has to take his position on McTominay and wherever that service is coming from. If Haaland is one-on-one with Varane, you're happy for that. That's the partnership you're hoping for. If he drifts onto Martinez, how can Varane make sure and keep that cover? All sound well and good sitting in my living room as we are here, Mark, playing up against Haaland, as we've seen time and time again over the last few years, is nothing but is nothing about it at all is straightforward. It's all about how you can try to minimize his impact, and then you just hope for the best.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.